Is Dehancer Pro worth the price tag of $600 US? Yeah, it is. Well, in my opinion. I mean, we go on their website right here just to show 60 plus film profiles, right? Print films, blah, 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 blah. It's to emulate actual film. And for $600, does it look like actual film? Yes, it does. It truly has so much variety for every scenario, the film profiles, whether that's day, night, anything in between that, and even miscellaneous grades where you have some wacky colors or you're going for a specific look. That alone is the biggest thing, and it is, again, it emulates real film. It genuinely looks real. And for $600, it should, and it does. But with the kind of versatility, you can tell any story and evoke really any emotion in your grades with this tool, which I have a lot of respect for. The littler things, you know, it has obviously very realistic film grain, halation, bloom, all real characteristics of actual film. A very great emulation. Another really cool thing about Dehancer Pro is that it comes with the free mobile editor as well. It's the same exact thing except on your phone, and it is freaking awesome. It's actually extremely easy. You have everything it has in Resolve or what have you not, and like it's super easy to use. So for example, if I want a film grain, you just tap it, right? You can adjust it, whatever. You have the exact same settings. The best thing I love about the mobile version is that you actually can see the film stocks like displayed, which makes it so like it's like I love that. It is so good. Yeah, I just love that feature. Just thought I would mention it quick. It's very easy. You put your license in like you do in your computer. You set it up. It takes 5 seconds. Well, like a minute or two, and you're good to go. Anyways, that's my reasons. Now let me show you the actual color grading with it. I'm gonna color grade daytime shots, nighttime shots, and anything in between that, even some weird miscellaneous colors. From one of my TikToks from Slovenia. I'm currently backpacking Europe right now, and I made this cool little edit. If you want to check it out, it's about a minute long. It's on my Instagram or TikTok. YouTube copyrights it, so I can't show it. The whole vibe of the video is a soft, dreamy kind of look. Like I wanted to kind of go for a euphoric feeling with this color grade. Kind of a very soft, and you know the colors aren't, especially during the daytime, as you can see, like realistic, but with the actual story, it flows very well. Just a disclaimer. Other disclaimer is you can ignore all these nodes. I was experimenting. The nodes you need to follow are what I'm highlighting right now. These 9 nodes are what I use. Everything else, not important. I was experimenting. So let's start off with the daytime shot. First things first, though, I'm working in Davinci RGB, pipeline. I export to YouTube, TikTok, all that mainly, so Rec 709, Gamma 2.4, my output color space. For a heads up, this video is only about reviewing and using Dehancer and showcasing what it is, what it does in every scenario. All the whole color grading stuff and technicalities is not going to be mentioned. So if you don't have a pretty good understanding of color grading, or at least a basic understanding of color grading, this video might get a bit confusing. But you'd probably want to have some experience with color grading before you move on to Dehancer. Actually, no, that's not true. Even if you're a complete beginner, Dehancer actually makes it really easy. I'll say that first thing is you can get all your color grade, color correction in one node inside Dehancer, which is very, very powerful. You can literally, your highlights, shadows, midtones, you can get very detailed with your colors and exposure. But as most people learn how to color grade individual nodes, and that's what I use. That's what I prefer better. To mention, this was shot in S-Log 3 on my Sony FX30. If I get rid of all my corrections and grade, so basic Rec 709, become the Dehancer. First thing you want to do is go all the way down and change the quality to high, slow. Or if you have a pretty slow computer like I do, you can keep it at normal fast and change it at the end for rendering. You're also going to want to disable all tools because for some reason Dehancer, when you first apply it to your node, applies everything, the film grain, all that. So you don't want that. That's the only thing I don't like about Dehancer. My first reason why I said it's worth the money is this guy right here, this little tab. but it offers so much. All these are different film stocks, and they look just like they were on actual film. It is quite impressive. I mean, you just can go endless and endless and endless with this. They have a film stock for literally every scenario. So there's ones for daytime, like the one I use here, the Kodak Vision 3 500T. It's a pretty popular daytime film stock, and I liked it the best for this shot. They also have ones for nighttime, of course. They have ones for basically any scenario, but it all comes down to your personal preference. A quick Google search of what film stocks are good during the day, night, or this situation will give you a very good idea. But if you kind of just scroll through and kind of see, you can find just what looks good for your scenario and the story you're trying to tell. The push-pull is another great tool. What that means is how strong the actual film stock is going to be. So you can have like it being none, you can have it being very strong. I usually literally keep it on the default at 0. You can tamper with it depending on your mood, I guess. Film developer, I never touch because I do all that kind of stuff in the nodes before it, which I'll get into. Film compression is great. No BS, honestly, I would probably spend the $600 just for the film compression. But it's seriously an awesome tool. As you can see, what it does, it just brings a very smooth roll-off in the highlights and emulates what actual film does to the highlights. And you can have a lot of control with it, like an absurd amount of control with it. But this right here, this little film compression tool, especially during a lot brighter daytime shots, has saved me so much information, dynamic range in my footage. It's really taken some of my frames to the next level, which I'll show in other examples, and makes the frame. And without it, you can tell a noticeable difference. Expand is kind of more for exposure. Again, I do that already previously, exposure nodes, so I don't really touch that. You can play around with it. That's the whole thing about learning Dehancer. You just kind of have to play around with it. The print, right? So really, you have your 3 main film stocks that they actually use while displaying it in the theaters and stuff, or back in the day. Each one gives a different vibe and has its own characteristics. The popular 2383. It depends, honestly, again, on what you like the best, what you're trying to convey, what kind of story you're trying to tell here. For this specific shot, I was like, yeah, this looks the best for me. And you kind of play around with it. You can see that color density is all the way up, but I would not touch that until after your correction nodes. Color head, as well as kind of talked about before, is if you want to grade everything in one node, you'd want to go to a different color space. I'm not sure the correct one. That quick Google search will help you with that. But otherwise, if you grade it before and correct it, no need for color head. Film grain, I mean, it gives very, very realistic film grain. You can see, especially in the clouds, it also makes the image less sharp, which, I like. To give a bigger example, you can kind of get crazy with whatever you want. You have a lot of customization. I mean, if you want, you can get, you get very crazy with it for sure. But I liked it just to be subtle, fit the vibe. All right, this clip will do. Halation, if we zoom in, for example, the letters on his shirt, right? Or a light source, hold on a second. We turn it off and then on. It just kind of gives a softer, more dreamy look. It's a red-orange halo around light sources, highlights, and contrasting edges. It also makes skin tones more vivid and attractive. You have plenty of different profiles, so you can see that difference from their example. And let's go over to the light sources. See with mine, it just emulates film again. It's certain nostalgia. It's subtle, but very effective. And I have it on the lowest one possible. If you want a lot, you can do that too. Bloom is kind of the bloom of light sources especially, and it expands the halation effect. So if we kind of see, boom, bloom, even on skin tones, it kind of, I don't know, it gives that soft, dreamy look. And as I mentioned before, that was the whole vibe of my video, is soft and dreamy look. It just, I don't know, it gives it a little bit of sauce, okay? It makes it look nicer. Dehancer listed as a soft glow or mist around bright objects, and it refines a vintage look, traditionally achieved with optical filters, exotic lenses, and a small film format. Dehancer accurately represents the real physics of light with versatile profiles for different film formats and custom settings. I mean, yeah, it's just very, very accurate, and it's just a huge difference. All depends on the story you're trying to tell, but I love it. I love it. Film damage, it's just actual characteristic of film. Like, everyone knows, like, the film, like, artifacts and, like, old film. So again, if you're telling like a horror, like 50 story or whatever you want, it's a great tool to have, and very accurate, of course. And all these things are so customizable. You have 8mm film, 65, whatever you kind of looking at, and they all have a custom. So this actually, for film damage, because you have your dust, you have your hairs, and your scratches, 3 different components that makes damage in film. It can be very customizable to your liking. Film brush a little bit more complicated. Kind of changing, just like an old school film. What's the correct term? The mechanical swing of a film strip while it's being pulled through a film gate in a camera, projector, video encoder. Yeah, it's great. I mean, obviously you can't get anywhere. You have none of these components on a digital camera, so it does it very accurately. Again, depending on the story and the emotions you're trying to convey and tell, this is a fantastic tool to use. Overscan's pretty self-explanatory if you want a full kind of review or in-depth on it. Dehancer's website, it's great. I mean, they explain everything to a T. Very stylistic choice. I used it for this one. This was a Super 8mm like film on the Overscan. I think it's very fitting, We take it off, all right? I don't know. I didn't need all this information. I just wanted the subject to be here. It's an old school dreamy vibe again. That's kind of what the 8mm kind of gives off. Vignette, you can see it literally just gives a vignette around the edges. Like, if we want to focus on a subject in the middle, for example, let's get creative with this. I don't know, again, it all depends on the story you're trying to tell here. But unless you really specifically need that, there you go. Vignette, pretty simple. Monitor is actually a very, very powerful tool as well. Let's say I start cranking my exposure all the way up. You can see that we're getting way too much exposed here. Like, this isn't like film emulation. This is literally just to help you monitor what is going on, But yeah, that is very, very helpful for seeing your shadows, highlights, where things actually are clipping or being crushed or what have you, not just relying on the human eye. Clipping indication literally is just indicate when you're clipping your highlights or crushing your black. So it's just great tools. And then the output is just the overall effect of your film stock, the overall strength of your your Dehancer grade. Usually when you want to do the output, if a film stock is too much and you don't want to mess with the push-pull, you can come over here, and that can also be another way to either dilute it or strengthen the film stock. LUT generator, I mean, gives you free LUTs. That's pretty sick. It's about as in-depth in like the basics you need to know about Dehancer. That's my full in-depth on every tab on it. It honestly depends on your needs. But as a filmmaker, this is a fantastic tool to have, and it is genuinely worth it. At least for my needs. Now, let's actually color grade these clips. Let's start with some daytime. Okay, actually grading now with Dehancer. So this would be my normal node setup, 7 nodes. We're gonna see what film stock we'd use for this. I already know that I like the Kodak Vision 3500T. The reason how I know this is just by experimenting around and playing and a Google search. What's the best film stocks during the daytime? And yeah, you can play around with what you like. But that's my personal preference. And this look, I like Kodak Endura glossy paper for it. Now that we have our base selected, I'm gonna come and we're gonna balance my white balance my image first. This is shot on log, not raw, so I could either white balance before or after my exposure node. And instead of doing traditional change your gamma to linear and turn the lumix down, affect the gain. Since I have an all white image already, I'm just gonna use the dropper tool. So I'm gonna come to my graph, and what is pure white? That is pure white. And I'm gonna white balance my image this way by making them align horizontally on the graph. All right, pretty simple. Come to our vector scope. We see before and after on that. You can see that cooler kind of look. I mean, it's personal preference. I like it to be a little more cool in the shot. Come to exposure, I just use the HDR wheels. Use your waveform. I'm only looking at the scopes here while I do this. This affects all my channels fairly evenly. And I'm stopping right here just for a gamma to be nice in the center of 512. It's a good rule of thumb to have. And it'll be better when we do our contrast, which honestly, when I do my contrast, even my exposure, I like looking at the parade. I don't know why. It's just like, makes more sense for me. We look before and after on that. That's much better. Saturation, again, the HDR saturation is an easy, quick, reliable method every time. I mean, since I want to be that kind of dreamy, like eye candy look, saturation is going to be all the way up here. And then the real magic is split toning. See, split toning works a lot better in like more darker scenes in the shadows where you have all your information, but since there's literally no shadows in this clip, I'm just going to affect the midtones and highlights. So, I don't know, should we, let's make it kind of, make it kind of funky. Why not? All right, let's take a look at that. Our skin tones unaffected. Everything is just that. It literally looks like cotton candy clouds, which, sure, it's a dreamy vibe. Let's run with cotton candy clouds. Oh, and even though there's literally no shadows in this clip, it's always good practice just to take any saturation out of our blackest part of our image. For temperature, I always go to the HDR wheels as well. Kind of see what's up. See what I'm feeling. I think this is a little blue. So I'll bump a little bit of warmth into it. It gives it a little bit more color separation. subtle. I like it. And then yeah, as fairly quick. So we come to Dehancer. See how, I mean, this looks a lot more soft. That looks a lot more sharp. I'm just gonna leave it a little bit. I like it to be a little less strong. Again, film developer, don't need to touch that. We already did kind of all that work here. Film compression though, on the other hand, boom. That gives it a nice dreamy look. You can really see the mountains better that way as well. Yeah. I mean, it's just a huge difference. I mean, look at that. Like, look how smooth the roll-off is. Like, I literally would pay $600 just for the film compression, I tell you. Okay. And yes, I know some skin tones are a little unrealistic here in like that frame right now, but it's so high pace, quick this video is that it doesn't matter. Okay, we did exposure, so then the print, color density. I mean, let's take a look. Okay, that's a little too much, let's be honest here. It's a little bit of pop. All right. Again, we already did all the color already, so now time for the look. Like, we're basically done. So, filigree, let's see, ooh. Like, this gives like a nostalgic, like summertime vibe with your friends and everything, like old like recorders, so I would say that film grain is kind of a must on this one. And you just kind of personalize it. I like that, that looks good. Halation, I mean, there's nothing really for halation here. It just kind of gives us a red overcast. We don't want that. That'll be better in like where we have lights. It's a more dramatic nighttime scene. Bloom, I mean, you kind of see it blooms things. That looks more filmy. That's the way I like. More dreamy. Film damage, I don't need for this. Film damage kind of creeps me out. We're going for a happy vibe here. Film breath, okay, don't really unnecessary because it's very fast paced. Overscan, I mean, I'm honestly, I like having the full frame here because you have the mountains, the little castle, us, the church in the middle. I like this aspect ratio the best. And that's our final look. We went from this to that, this to that. I mean, it's a very eye candy, like, whoa, look. It's not your traditional, like, whatever. This is, like a TikTok edit. Without Dehancer, with Dehancer. And, if you just add, like, a LUT on there, I mean, it doesn't give you, like, this, I don't know. I mean, the grain, obviously, but just that film compression, honestly, and that bloom is so stunning here. I have a lot of nighttime shots in this edit, but I think where Dehancer really shines here is in this specific one. So log, boom, that's pretty dramatic change. I mean, wow. Every single nighttime shot is this film stock. And for a good reason. I mean, look how dramatic, right? And just automatically, even like I have one key light on his face. I mean, I have no fill light, backlight, or anything. But yet, it still looks quite cinematic. Literally every one is this film stock. And combined with a 2383, which was also like an everyone, it's literally, oh my goodness, it is money. It's a cheat code. Rec 709, but let's go back to log. The warm tungsten light, right? It's a warm tungsten practical as well, along with this cooler practical in the background. It's just the streetlights. It was perfect. It contrasts so nicely to the classic orange and teal cinematic look. And with just the leading lines, with the subject, I don't know. I'm just guessing my own cinematography right now. I love this shot, and it's perfect for grading. But I messed up my white balance so hard I didn't even realize it, during during filming. So we're gonna fix that. I'm excited to fix this image, but you should never let your image get to this point. I don't know what happened, but yeah, it's Fujicolor Super 1600. I mean, bro, are you kidding me? One click of a button, and you're already. I mean, you can't even make that. And you're already fixed, basically. Okay, I wouldn't say fixed, but you were in a goddamn good direction. Print 2383. I mean, great way to start. But I will say, that is overly strong, overly contrasting. So we're gonna bring this down on the output. Total impact. That's much better. Okay, with that being said, that already gives us a very strong base. Before, after, you already had that nice, contrast cinematic, right? We got some color separation right here. But this needs some fixing. Since we don't have any pure white in our image, we're gonna white balance this the traditional way. Make sure nothing wonky happens, turn the loom mix down, and we're gonna go and fix this John. So that's more neutral. I'll bring the saturation back for this warm light in the blue, because that's what makes it, but that gives us a good starting point. Good starting point. For the exposure, we already are almost clipping. So kind of just bring that up, and then the contrast will fix this. That's better, because I like how it kind of vignettes into the leading lines, like the subjects, because that's what you want to focus on. Because at the start of this clip, we run into it, we're not there, so I want people's eyes to be guided towards here in the first place. Go back to the HDR reels where we bring back our saturation, especially in the warmer colors of our image. Yeah, there we go. And the blue pops so much as well. I mean, yeah, that doesn't overdo it. And now the real magic with the split toning. We have all our information in the shadows, so this will really kind of pop. This is going to make our image right here. So what I want to do is I want to emphasize that orange and teal cinematic look. So I'm going to create some teal and add some more orange. So with that being said, we have no information in the highlights or midtones, but that's okay. We don't need it for this. So I'm gonna crank this all the way up to kind of see what areas I'm affecting. I like to get greedy with it. I'm gonna add green now to make teal. You can already see it's quite a big difference, and it flows really nicely with the cool light, cool Kelvin temp in the background. Okay, yeah, actually we have information in the warm tungsten light, so I want to make it a little more orange, so red and green. I mean, it's subtle, but so huge. So huge. If you look Like, yeah, nah, it's actually crazy. And get a little bit more neutral. I mean, that'll do it. That's much better. And my blacks are crushed, but I don't need, I mean, actually, they aren't. They're almost crushed, but I don't really need the information over here. I mean, it's all personal preference if I want the texture from the road in it, but I want to emphasize it leading here anyways, so I don't care if the blacks are crushed, honestly. I would say it's a little bit yellowish in a way. I'm gonna make that all the little more cooler. It's subtle but effective. Okay. And then we come our film compression. I mean, we don't have any highlights here, so it does not matter for that. Already did our exposure, and then we go into the print. We're gonna, yeah, the color density looks nice. Again, eye candy. Okay, it's a little much, but that's nice. Film grain, I mean, for this one, that's what's gonna soften it and give it that, there we go. That, see, when Dehancer applies the film grain, it also kind of gets rid of that digital camera look and actual more film. Like, it just like, it softens the image in like the perfect way. And I like it, seriously, it's very helpful. And honestly, I think that's good film grain right there. For the halation, I'm gonna kind of look at this light source. I want a lot of halation. Okay, not too much, because that's really making... That's the only thing with the halation, you kind of gotta be careful. It gives a little bit of a red overcast. That's pretty good. And the bloom, I mean, I'm gonna want a lot of bloom here, just to emphasize that soft dreaminess. Yeah, that's more old school. Gives what we're going for here. And yeah, it's a pretty good outcome. This is just some title card I made. I thought it looked cool. So yeah, it's a nighttime shot. We got different colors and everything. And the whole process goes for all of these. I have my 7 nodes. I have my 9 nodes, 7 of which are actually my working nodes, 2 of them with CSTs. This one I just added more on the key light because it was way too dark seeing his face before. But yeah, with Dehancer, again, I pick your film stock, your film print, and you know your characteristics of film. I mean, it emulates film very well. You can see it looks very professional. And I literally had my phone as one key light, nothing else. I mean, you look at all these, I'm proud of the color grade, how it turned out. I mean, that's like, without Dehancer, with it just gives what it needs, what I want to tell my story. I mean, it's just, yeah, I love it. I have nothing but great things to say about it. Yeah, nothing but great things to say about Dehancer. So, I know there's a lot of tutorials out there, a lot of information about Dehancer. This kind of shows you everything it's really got to offer, the main points, what you're going to be using a ton, but you can use it. No one's really talked about it, but you can tell any kind of story you want through the art of color grading using this tool. Whatever emotion, whatever story you can use for any situation, any type of lighting condition, it has you covered to set you up for success. And that's important. And I think it's worth the money. Seriously. They sent me their product to review, honestly. They said be fully honest, and I respect a lot about that. So you heard all my pros. You didn't hear my cons. My cons are that when you open it, everything's already applied, so you have to come all the way down and press disable tools. It's a little annoying, and in the YouTube videos, everyone kind of says the same thing. And when you open it, everything's open. And I know there's a way where, like a shortcut, you can somehow collapse all of these tabs, but I literally cannot find it anywhere on YouTube or on Google, and I have no idea how to do it. So if they can, seriously, like I've seen hundreds of YouTube videos, people reviewing it, they're all saying the same thing. Like, guys, come on. Like, it'll make lives so much easier. But yeah, those are my 2 cons. Again, this is another Dehancer tutorial out of many of them. I hope it actually gave some insight onto kind of what Dehancer is really about. And another film stock, Kodak Gold 200 for daytime scenes is also very good. For any type of sunset, like this thing is awesome. That film compression, I mean, that literally saved me here. It's so good. So if you're really thinking about Dehancer and to elevate your creative storytelling, color grading process, I got you. In the bio, you can use code BHTRAVEL for 10% off. It costs no extra to you. It helped me fund my travels in my life. So if you found it helpful, let me know. Any questions, comments? I've never done a review before, but I try to keep it as honest and as simple as I can. It's kind of difficult to do, but I just hope this was valuable in some sort of way. Anyways, thank you, Dehancer, for allowing me to review your product honestly. Much appreciated. And until the next Europe backpacking video, peace out.